All right, guys. Second video in our day of just taking a look at line graphs and analyzing them. We'll be building them tomorrow, so I'll talk to you about how we can do that, how we can change these tables into line graphs. It's pretty easy. Similar to bar graphs, we just use the information in tables. Find 2001, we would put a plot all the way up at 24,000. 2002, put a dot all the way up at 22,500, and then we just kind of connect them. All right, that's how you would go about making them, and we'll be doing that tomorrow. In this case, it's a question about Sarah. She buys a new car, and it's kind of realistic in life, around 24,000, probably a small, mid-size, compact in 2001. And then as soon as you drive it off the lot, it drops about $2,000. All right, welcome to life. How many years will it take? So we have questions here, and you can see what the trend is. Sorry, I'm kind of jumping around. You can see what the trend is over time. In this case, if you were to take a line and make a trend line, it really is pretty easy to see what happens to the price of your cars over time. It drastically decreases, all right? But it's not a nice, even, slow decrease. Up until about this year here, it seems like it's decreasing on a line that looks like this. And then it starts decreasing on a line that looks like this. And there's a real good reason, and you can try to see if you can think about it. Maybe ask mom and dad tonight. That's the one question I'm not going to answer, and it's down there. So we're going to take a look at analyzing these graphs and maybe thinking about the real world. Now it's a car. Your years go like this in the little bumps, and then all of a sudden, after 3 years, it looks like it starts decreasing a lot faster in value, and there might be a reason for it. So how many years will it take for the car to reach a value of 17,500? So in this case, how many years? 1, 2, 3 years. All right, that's how long it would take. It wouldn't take 4, it'd take 1. The space is 1, 2, 3 years for Sarah's car to reach a value of $17,000. So it would take 3 years for the car to reach a value of 17,500. All cars depreciate in value unless you're talking about classic cars, and classic cars are nothing, or sorry, are realistically nothing made in the last 30 years is considered to be a classic car, unless you're talking about one of those cars that, you know, we only make 5 of every year. There are a few of those cars kicking around, like a handmade car kicking around out of England, might be worth that sort of thing. Okay, so it would take 3 years for the car value or to reach a value of 17,000. I'll put the answers down here. If Sarah keeps the car for 1 year, how much has her car lost, or how much value has her car lost? So this is just the, you know, the 24,000 take away 2,200 and $500. Sarah's car, you know, has lost a value of $1,500 after a year. After 2 years, it's lost, you know, there's a huge jump here. After 2 years, it's lost $4,300. So you just take them and subtract. So it's decreasing in value. After 3 years, 17,000. Now, sorry, it's dropped. 24,000 take away 17,500 would be $6,500. Okay. And then it drops. All right. Why does it drop this huge amount in 1 year? After 4 years, why do you think the car drops? In here, between the 4th year and the 5th year, it drops $4,500. This is the point where I want you to ask mom and dad, why do cars drop in value after this? And there's a real good reason for it. You can figure it out. Sarah wants to trade her car in when it has a value of $12,000. When should she trade it in? Well, $12,000 is not a number that's on here, but we can use the graph to make a prediction of when her car will roughly be worth $12,000. Go up the scale. Each one of these increments is $1,000. So 11,000, 12, 13, 14, then 15. So we go to the $12,000 value, and we just kind of use a ruler and we go across. All right, and we can put a point right here. All right, that's where the 12,000 intersects. And then we can just use our ruler and flip it around. and goes down to there. So pretty much halfway through the year 2005 is when Sarah's car will probably be worth about $12,000, which is when she wants to trade it in. So she wants to trade it in somewhere about halfway through the year 2005. So after she's owned the car for 1, 2, 3, 4.5 years. All right. So after 4.5 years, Sarah's car, and after 4.5 years, Sarah's car would be worth about $12,000. All right. So about halfway into into the year 2005. All right. And that's kind of how you can answer the questions or use the graphs to read. When you're doing your work or showing your work for this question here, put the dots, but also put little dashed lines. All right. I'm going to cheat and just use ye old computer to make a dashed line for me. All right. So put little dashed lines. They don't need to have the arrows, but if you put the arrows, it's kind of cool too. Go there, and we'll just decrease the size. Okay, so if you put the arrows, you're showing your work, you're showing me how you're thinking, that sort of thing, and you're showing me that you can use these graphs to interpret. All right, so obviously if we were to ask the easy question, what's the trend when you own a car? Well, over time, the value for almost all cars decreases, again, unless we're talking classics. See if you can ask this one here, why after 4 years would a car start decreasing in value even faster? All right, we're at 4 years. It's really not that old. All right. But something magical happens to cars at that age. See if you can figure it out. That's kind of it. That's what we're going to be doing tomorrow, just reading and interpreting graphs using the scales in both directions. I could ask you, what was the car worth at, or what will the car be worth in between 2003, 2004, halfway between? So then you could work your way up and work this way. It'd be worth somewhere around $18,000. If you went right here, made your way up, and then made your way across, it'd be worth about $18,000. And that would be the answer to the question. And again, you'd have to show the little arrows and stuff like that. Alrighty, a little long in the video, but again, this is more of a verbal unit than an actual math unit. But this is kind of the most useful math I can actually teach you. These graphs pop up in a lot of different ways, especially with money. And that's what we're going to work on as soon as I find something interesting enough to do. Okay.